What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about what are the biggest mistakes that you're likely to make while trying to grow your restoration company. Here's the deal, guys. Business is not easy. Mistakes are everywhere along the way. If anybody in the world is an authority on making mistakes, it's this guy. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the biggest mistakes that I made as I was growing my own company, and some of the things that you might be making right now. Basically, if you own a restoration company and you want to collapse time and avoid some simple mistakes, you do not want to miss this video. Let's go. All right, guys, so as we get started, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe button and drop a comment down below. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. And if you ever have any questions, drop the questions in the comments below. I'll read each and every one of them. All right, so as we get started, in this video, I'm just going to give you a list of these things. They're not in any specific order. So the first big mistake that I see people make when they're trying to grow their business is this. They're not focused on the right thing. Here's the deal, guys. When you grow your company, it's not easy. There's a lot of problems along the way. Maybe the van's got a flat tire. Maybe you need to hire somebody. You need to get a new procedure so Pam knows how to answer the phone better. There's always a lot of things that you need to get done in your business. So pretend your business is a chain, and that chain has 100 links in it, okay? It is most likely or very common that there's not just one problem in your business. There's not just one link that's giving you a hard time. It's more likely there's going to be 10 or 12 or 15 different links, 10 or 12 or 15 different problems in your business at any given time. So what do? Well, you as the owner, it's kind of silly to ignore the problems, right? So what do? We typically start addressing all of the ones that we see. We see symptoms, we start working on them. But there's a flaw in this strategy, and here's what it is. So if a chain breaks, let me ask you a question. How does it break? A chain always breaks at the weakest link. So that means if your company is a chain and you've got 100 links and 10 or 12 of these things are giving you a problem, and so you're working on 10 or 11 or 12 links at one time, when it breaks and everything fails, only one link gave away. So that means the time you were spending on the other 9 or 10 was actually wasted time and energy. You should have been focused more on the weakest link. Now, I'm not saying this just as like hyperbole saying, hey, well, why do you keep screwing that up? It's not easy is what I want you to know. The biggest problem is we don't know where the weakest link is. I'm going to ask you a question. What is the biggest problem in your business right now? Like seriously, what is it? Do you know? One of the problems is we don't always know, guys. It's not very simple. It's not very easy. And a lot of times that's why it takes outside perspective from somebody else looking in. It's really hard to see what's going on when you're looking directly in front of you. If you were to zoom up and fly up to 5,000 feet, instead of looking, when you're trying to walk through a maze, you just see a wall. But when you elevate above beyond the maze, then you start to see the different channels or patterns. Well, that gives you depth. You get a chance to see the different ways that you could go when you rise up out of the maze. Same thing that's going on in the business. Now, I'm not telling you this is a simple answer, but here's what I want you to know. There's usually only 1 or 2 constraints in a business that really matter. There may be 10 or 12 different problems that you're facing, okay? But only 1 or 2 of those could probably kill your business. So what is the answer? Well, number 1, just be aware that you may not know what the real problem is. And number 2, it's super critical to find those most critical links and work on those first. The 2 biggest problems in my view is getting jobs and getting paid. If you don't fix the flat tire, if you don't give Pam the procedure, if you don't do whatever for Billy, sign up for the extra credits, all those are important. But the minute that you stop the input, you stop the marketing, you stop getting jobs, like getting paid doesn't even matter if you can't get jobs. There's 4 steps in caveman restoration. It's get job, do job, build job, collect job. Guys, it all starts with getting jobs. If you've got anything going on in your business and you have not solidified customer and client acquisition, in other words, if you don't consistently have 3 water jobs a week coming in the door, that's probably where you need to focus your time and energy, okay? Because the minute that you turn your head away from getting jobs coming in the door steadily, then that's where, like, maybe you're working on some procedures. Maybe you're working on that manual. If you're not working on getting consistent water jobs coming in the door each and every week, at least 3 of them, that's going to be your biggest problem, okay? And that's going to be your downfall. You can only stare at one thing at a time. And I would tell you this. Get on $1 million run rate first. Learn how to get over 3 jobs a week first. So using the 1-3-6 method, 3 jobs a week times $6,000 a job, that's $18,000 a week. 18 times 52, $936,000 per year with a single truck. Let's focus on that first, okay? And then you can worry about scaling stuff after that. Get 3 jobs a week first. That's my advice. So I'll ask you this as we leave this one alone. Are you focused on the right things? If you're not sure and you want some help, you want my team to help you grow your business, you can go to workwithshane.com. We can hop on a free call and we can talk about that. All right, guys, so the second big mistake that I made as I was starting my company was this. I was setting the wrong goal. I was setting the wrong target. And here's the deal. When I first got started, I didn't know what I wanted, all right? I was probably maybe like a lot like you guys. I wanted X amount of $1 million per year. I wanted X amount of trucks, X amount of people, X amount of employees. $10 million a year sounds great. I want 3 locations doing $10 million. Well, all of that's great, but like, why? Like, why 10? Why not 12? Why not 8? Here's the deal. I was setting myself up on the wrong target. Think of it this way, guys. If you set your business up, is it possible that you make $10 million in a year? Is it possible that you make $1 million profit? Sure. Is it possible that you make $4 million profit? Sure. Is it possible that you make $400,000 profit? Is it possible that someone makes $10 million a year, doesn't make any profit? And before you guys say, no, that's not possible, let me ask you, is Toys R Us still here? Okay. Like, seriously, like where do some of these big companies go? Companies that are making $100, $200 million a year. There's people that make 10, 50, 100 times more money than you're making right now, and they go out of business every day. Why is that? Because top line revenue is not bottom line revenue. Profit is different than revenue. Are you following me? My company, Restoration Profits, is not called Restoration Revenue. Why? Because I've learned from those mistakes. I know that revenue is not what you want. Profit is what you want. So this goes back to setting the wrong goal. If you set the wrong goal, it's very possible that you're going to hit the $10 million mark. If you say, I want to make 50 trucks, there's a good chance you might make 50 trucks. And there's a good chance that you'll only have 50 trucks and no profit, or just a little bit of profit. Here's my point. I would encourage you to set your profit goals first and pursue those profit goals, okay? And leave profit in the equation is one of those constraints. Think of it this way. You remember we said earlier, like one of the things that I teach is the 1-3-6 method, okay? Get 1 job a week and then you get 1 technician, you get 3 jobs a week over $6,000 job. Like, so the goal I think everybody should do is let's try to get a single truck to $1 million. Let's get 1 single truck to $1 million. Like, why not make that as a goal? Because if you hit that goal, if you have 1 truck and you made $1 million, baby, I know you're profitable. You're uber profitable. You're super profitable. Okay. Why? Because that is a good goal. That is good constraints. The bigger thing that I did wrong in the beginning is I was setting just arbitrary revenue goals. Like even in this business here, Restoration Profits, like I set arbitrary goals. Now I'm not faulting you for setting an arbitrary goal. Okay. Like it is good to set a financial goal as opposed to have no goal at all. It's not a zero-sum game. You can set a better goal. You can set a better target. I encourage you to stop, take a moment, sit down and think, hey, is this really what I'm after? Is it possible that I achieve this goal that I've set and I'm still not happy or I'm not making money? So that's why I like profitability, okay, as the actual goal, and then maybe even get some constraints around that, okay? Maybe it's, hey, I want to make $1 million per year with a truck, or I want to make $800,000 per year with a truck, and I want to work no more than 45 hours a week, okay? Like I want to spend time with my wife and kids. When you set up these constraints, guys, you will operate within those constraints and you'll be able to make those work, okay? So I'm just telling you, set a better goal, you'll hit a better target. So here's a third mistake that I see people make. They model the wrong people. They model the wrong businesses. Maybe they'll follow someone like Gary Vee on social media, who's great for like an influencer, okay? But you can't run a restoration business like modeling your restoration company like Gary Vee does. You can't run your restoration company like Grant Cardone runs his freaking real estate business. These are different businesses. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't model what these guys do in some capacity, but you have to be careful about what you're modeling with them. Does that make sense? Like making 15 pieces of short form content every week ain't gonna move the needle getting any water damage restoration jobs. Now, is it possible? Maybe, but here's what I'm saying. There's better uses of your time. Let me say it again differently. If these guys were in water damage restoration, they wouldn't be what they're doing. They're doing what they're doing because they're also trying to build this personal brand at the same time. So here's what you need to focus on. Don't get caught up in the noise, guys. Find out what you need to be doing by modeling people that have done exactly what you want to do. The best way to get to the top of a mountain, okay, specifically a mountain that you want to climb, is to look and see, are there any mentors that are already at the top of that mountain and they can throw me a rope down and help me up? That is always going to be the fastest way, okay? So let me tell you a quick story. Here's what can happen if you model the wrong people. So me and a buddy of mine, Nate, we would fly around the country like anybody. try and model people. We were in a consulting group together, and if you would just sit still and have a conversation with us, we would come to your location and we would study to see what you're doing because we wanted to learn. So we hopped on a plane, we flew up to the Northeast, we went to go see this company. I can't remember if they were doing $10 or $15 million a year, but I was like, dude, we are about to learn some stuff, okay? These guys are going to let us in, peek behind the curtain. We're going to learn what's up. Well, let me tell you something. We'd been there, and I think it was probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon the first day that we got there, and we were going up there trying to grow a water damage restoration company. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what we hadn't seen by 3 o'clock? We ain't seen a single fan. They had walked us in their huge warehouse, this big facility that they had, and they showed us floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, even down to the basement, but we hadn't seen any water damage fans. Now, here's what we knew. We were going to go talk to a restoration company that did somewhere between $10 and $15 million a year. Wow, I'm going to learn a lot, right? And as the day progressed and we got after lunch, I was like, where's the fans at, man? And he was like, oh, they're down here. So we went down to the basement and around, we went through their contents facility, went through their cleaning facility because they cleaned contents, they stored contents, and only then did we see some fans, and they were on like the third rack at the top of the warehouse. Now, why does this matter? Because they, at least when I got to dig into the numbers, I was like, so how much water do you guys do a year? And it turns out they did over $1 million of water a year. That sounds great on paper, right? But here's the deal. They really did a bunch of construction and fire work. If you don't know who it is that you're modeling, you might build a company like theirs. And these were just another bunch of guys that were top line revenue hunters, okay? And they were doing between $10 and $15 million a year. And they had gotten so far into revenue hunting that they had gotten into reconstruction, they had gotten into fire, and they gotten into new construction too. And here's what I mean. They were turning in bids for municipal projects for flooring and general contracting. And here's the problem with that, guys. The minute that you allow general contracting to enter the mix, the minute that you allow reconstruction to enter your numbers, you can land 2 fires, guys. I said, you can land 2 fires, and that can be $2 million. Literally, you can get $2 million on 2 fire jobs. And so you can say that you're a $2 million company, and you're really not. You landed 2 jobs that got you $2 million. So you got to think about what is it that makes you who you are. And with these guys specifically, they had touted that they were this big company, and technically they were. But I wasn't going to learn much of them about water damage restoration, because while they did $1 million a year from water, okay, out of their 10 to 15, I think only about $200,000 of it was in even retail work. In other words, the only way that they got any water jobs were fire jobs that they needed to, that water was put on by the fire department, guys. So here's what I'm trying to get at. Be careful who you're modeling. Be careful what you're looking at, okay? That was not a $15 million restoration company. That was a company that was probably doing $12 million a year in construction, and they did some recon, some fire, and just itty bitty bit of water, okay? $15 million water damage restoration company? More like a $15 million construction company? Yes. Be careful on who you model, okay? And if it's a big company and they do 30 million, like Tommy Mello, $100 million garage door company, that's awesome, okay? Not a whole lot you're gonna learn from them to run a water damage restoration company, all right? Some things, yes, most things, no. You'll be more likely to learn from someone that does a $2 to $10 million in water damage restoration than somebody that does $100 million in doors or in windows or in roofing, okay? Be careful what you're looking at. So here's another big mistake that I see restoration contractors make while trying to grow their company. What is it? They spend too much time working on a single thing. Guys, here's the deal. If you're spending over 90 days working on something, there's a good chance that something else is wrong, okay? Especially when it comes to water damage restoration, things don't take that long, okay? They don't take 3, 4, 5 months to see results. When you do the right things, you do the right inputs, you start to get the right results on the other side of that. So yeah, you may not be a 250-pound bodybuilder in 10 weeks, but I've got news for you. You're going to see dramatic gains in the first 3 weeks. If you're not experiencing rapid gains every 3 to 4 weeks in your restoration company, I got a secret for you. You're doing something wrong. I'm going to say that again. If you're not experiencing rapid gains every 4 weeks or so in your restoration company, at least in the early days, the first year, then you're doing something wrong, guys, and that's completely okay. Here's what I don't want to see you do. A lot of people will say like SEO may take 6 months or a year. It's a long game. All that's true, but you don't need that long stuff. The stuff that you need right now, when you do the right things the right way, you will take off and grow just like a rocket, okay? Don't spend too much time waiting on the wrong stuff. It doesn't take 12 weeks for plumbers to start calling you back and get a job from them. It doesn't take 12 weeks to make AdWords start working. It doesn't take 12 weeks to get jobs from the internet or insurance agents. Guys, you can get these things to turn on in just a matter of a few weeks. 2 2 to 4 weeks, you will be seeing dramatic results. And if you're not, I've got news for you. Something is wrong. If you're not experiencing that dramatic results, go to workwithshane.com, get on a call with my team, and I will show you what we do at our own company. And we've been helping other contractors all over the country over the past couple years, probably put 600 companies through our 30-day program. I'd love to put you through it as well. Again, here's what I'm gonna say. If you do the right things in a short period of time, you will see, feel, and experience results. And if you don't, guys, there's a good chance you're doing something wrong. Don't stay in one spot too long and stay stuck. And here's one problem that I see a lot of restoration contractors make while they're trying to grow their business is this. They make things too complex too early, okay? Here's what I'm gonna tell you. Simple scales, complex fails. Guys, if you're sitting around trying to build processes and procedures and all these SOPs and everything for your business, okay? And you got 2 employees, it's you and Billy and maybe Bobby, and you got 1 job, 2 jobs a month coming in, you don't need procedures for Billy and Bobby to drive that dang thing out. You need some jobs for Billy and Bobby to go do, okay? So don't worry about processes and procedures in the beginning. It's gonna be ugly, it's gonna be messy. You need to learn how to get jobs coming in the door and consistently. Guys, the first thing you wanna do is get a job a week over 4 to 6 weeks, and then hire somebody, and then get 2 people in that truck. And then you wanna focus on getting at least 3 jobs a week each and every week, at least between 10 and 15 jobs a month. Until you're there, baby, you don't need processes and procedures. You need to get those dang jobs. That's the process you need. That's the procedure that you need. Get job, do job, build job, collect job. Those are 4 things you got to do. And if you're doing less than 10 jobs a month, like, you've got to learn how to process that stuff. It's not about procedures and processes. Plus, you got to get the most important thing down first, getting jobs. I will tell you this, just like I tell all my clients, what you're going to do to get paid in the end will be different than what you do to get paid in the beginning. I'm going to say that a little bit differently. Your first problem is getting jobs. When you learn how to get enough jobs consistently over and over again and repeatedly, other problems will appear. They will emerge in your business, okay? You will need procedures. I want to be very clear about that, but you want to have getting jobs down consistent so you don't have to be thinking about it. So when you divert your time and energy and attention away from getting jobs, that's still happening in the background, and then you can build those procedures quickly. If you try to build a procedure without having getting jobs down, then you're going to have a bunch of procedures and no jobs, and everybody runs out of cash. And then who wants that, guys? Here's what I want to tell you in the end. Focus on what matters. It's get job, do job, build job, collect job. It's as simple as that. Simple scales, complex fails. If you look at all the really big companies, they try not to make things super complicated. They try to hire really good people. And like, think of it this way. I'll leave you with this one before we tie this up. If you go look at a skyscraper downtown Nashville, if they're building, like we go down there, there's freaking skyscrapers everywhere you can see. And everywhere that they're building one of these high rises, here's what you're gonna find. There is not a book with 500 SOPs. I'm gonna say that again. There is not a book with 500 SOPs. Do you know what it is? There is a dude called a project manager with a hard hat, and he's sitting there and he's running all those jobs, okay? Or he's running all of the things inside of that job. You get one neck to choke approach, okay? You hire someone that's really, really good at what they're doing, and you let them do their thing, okay? The process is like, it's hard to build a manual for 5,000 different processes. We are in the emergency service business, guys, okay? We're not at some call center, we're reading like a 21 question flow chart. This is much more complex than that, okay? And your environments are gonna be much more dynamic, and things are gonna be moving really, really quickly, and you don't have that much time. Here's what you need to do. You hire good people, you train them well, okay? And you work towards a milestone environment. So anyway, if you guys want us or my team to help you grow your restoration company, you can go to workwithshane.com. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. If you guys enjoyed that video, I've got 3 things for you. First off, there's a couple of other videos somewhere on the screen. You can click those now to go watch more content about growing your restoration company. Number 2, if you haven't already subscribed, click my face below and that will subscribe you to the channel. And finally, if you would like for me to help you grow your restoration company, go to workwithshane.com, put in your information, and let's get on a 15-minute call. We'll see you then.